Okay, in this video we're going to put back together the PS3. Some slots you can take out the whole entire unit. I definitely recommend that, but making sure that it goes back in properly. If you unscrew this right here, some of them don't even have the screws, so this whole thing pops out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put back together the PS3, and that's, if you watched my other video of taking it apart, that's why I love having a little brush, is just to clean out the inside, because that's what the #1 cause. People do not store their PS3s properly. They put it in a confined area. I mean, they may smoke, they don't clean, it gets clogged up in here and it causes it to overheat. When that happens, well, you get the yellow light of death. And that also happens to be the part of reason why the thermal paste that the PS3 originally put on this board and the Xbox 360s, they're not able to handle that much heat, and they basically get the yellow light of death on here. So we're putting the board back together, and then we're going to, again, there's all different variations of this these boards, so make sure that you know correctly putting together the right one. So we're just going to put this all together, and we're going to hit all the screws. And if you got lost on where the screws are, check out my video where I tore it apart, and you can put it back together. So we're going to put this one together, and these are just these little, they're a little bit of unique screws that go in here. I like to start them first before I put my drill into them. That way I'm not drilling into the board. And then don't drill them in all the way, just kind of get them started. And then you can just go ahead and get in there, have a nice little turn on it, because you want to get that heatsink really into that, really on top of that processor in the GPU system, because most of these units, especially on the Xbox, they don't get a lot of airflow. So, and then we're going to put all the screws all the way around. Again, there are some smaller screws, and there's some larger screws, so probably going to fast forward through all this so you don't have to watch that. And that's what's nice about having, you know, this type of the screws in that little container, because, well, once I get rid of all my screws, I know I completely put it back together. Okay. Then we're going to put the cage back together on here. There's 2 screws right there. They're the smaller ones. So once I got all the smaller screws on the outside in, then I start working on the larger screws. It just kind of helps me to make sure I got everything together. Okay, and here's the Wi-Fi right here. Now this little cable is pretty simple. There's a little bot right here. Some of them feed on over to the Wi-Fi in the front. This particular unit just happens to go right here. You just stick it on top and gently snap, push it in there. It should have a little snap. If you didn't have the snap, then you didn't get it, so try it again, but be careful. Try to align it as perfectly as possible, or you can damage the actual fitting. Okay, and this is the last small screw. So again, I put these 3 small screws on after the part, and then you have 1, 2, 3 other small screws, and now the larger screws are just going to go all the way around. If you guys want a particular video done, just make sure you email me, and I'll do a particular video for you guys. Just figure out which one that you guys want me to do. If you guys are having problems with something, and you'll be able to see if you get lost, there's little arrows, and that obviously says, hey, put a screw here. If it doesn't have an arrow, then you don't get a screw, because you're going to need the longer screws to go on through. Okay? So next, what we're going to do is we're actually going to put on the Blu-ray drive. The Blu-ray drive comes in here. In my previous video, I told you about being very careful about it, especially the older ones that have the larger cable. And you just plug this in, snap it down, and gently put it back into place. And then we're going to have the power cable that goes right onto here. We're going to plug that in, and we're going to stick it right on here. And then we put the power supply. You're going to have match up this right here, this little plug, just like a wall socket plug. It just goes right on in there. Watch that cable. Plug it down, and plug in the power supply here. And I like to put in the grounding cable first, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Remember, it's that one with the washer on there. It's very critical to get this one on here, because you could not get power if you don't have a return. So and for you, anybody out there saying, well, that's not true, blah blah blah, trust me, I loosely put that in there. I didn't tighten it all the way, and I wasn't getting power. So, and then we're going to have these larger little screws left go in the front and back, and then we have one screw that goes right into here. Okay. So now we reassemble the let me get the screw going. Now we reassemble the unit. We're going to put back in the hard drive. Just slide it in, and then that special blue screw goes right there. If you have to slide it across, then it still needs the blue screw. Just a little reminder there. And we put the panel on. Now at this point, you can go ahead and test it if you're doing a repair. You don't have to do the rest, but we're just going to go through the whole process for this video. And if you saw the first video, we have a small one here, and the rest of them are all larger. And there should be 6 of them. So 6 large screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 small one. Again, I like to start them a little bit. I don't like to put them all the way in. That way I make sure I get a good seat and I don't break the plastic on there, especially if it's a customer repair like this one. I like to do the corners of them, get it nice seated. Okay, then I'm going to take the top, kind of leave a little gap there, and then it slides over. And then we're going to take the V10 security key, and we're going to, that goes right into here. Now this one's a little tricky, so I like to guide it in there with my finger a little bit, and then hopefully it gets in there, and then I start to screw this down with my finger. Okay, that looks pretty tight there. Then you just plug in the plug. Now normally you'll have a sticker on here, but most of the time you don't have the sticker anymore, just due to the fact that you know, they get repaired. But if you have to take the sticker off, that's where it is. That's the factory seal. But that's the putting the PlayStation 3 back together. If you guys have any questions or comments, or if you want me to do a video on a specific repair, as I get the PlayStations in, I'll do different repairs. Today, like, I had 2 yellow lights of death, and then 1 red light of death, and then also we had a Blu-ray drive failure on a PS3 Slim. Just due to the lighting, I didn't feel like I did great lighting on there. If you want me to post them, let me know. But otherwise, I'll be filming every single repair that I do. So thank you very much. Comment, please subscribe, and you'll get my repairs as I go through them. So thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful day.